He made millions laugh with a tie that defied gravity and a cubicle life that mirrored our own. But behind the satire and sharp humor of Dilbert was a man grappling with a life-altering reality. Scott Adams, the controversial cartoonist and cultural commentator, has just shared news that stunned his fans and critics alike. Prostate cancer diagnosis. Unexpected. Serious. Personal. But this isn't just a health update, it's a moment that peels back the layers of a public figure we thought we knew. On a quiet afternoon, in a tone far more reflective than provocative, Scott Adams took to social media to share a deeply personal message. He had been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Not in a scripted press release. Not in a high-profile interview. But in his signature direct style, blunt, raw, and unfiltered. His post read something along the lines of, "I've been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Don't worry about me, I've got good doctors. But I want to use this moment to raise awareness." His message rippled across platforms. For years, Adams has been known more for his political hot takes and polarizing opinions than his health. But this time, the spotlight wasn't on ideology. It was on mortality. What followed wasn't just an outpouring of sympathy, but also an opportunity for fans and skeptics alike to see the man behind the cartoon. To truly understand the weight of this announcement, we need to rewind. Scott Adams wasn't always a household name. He was just another guy in a cubicle, a former engineer at Pacific Bell, scribbling comic strips on the side. In 1989, that side hustle became a phenomenon. Dilbert exploded into newspapers, capturing the absurdity of corporate culture with uncanny precision. The strip gave voice to silent frustrations. It was satire that felt shockingly real. By the mid-90s, Dilbert was in thousands of newspapers worldwide. There were books, merchandise, even a TV show. Scott Adams had built an empire on workplace humor, and along the way, he became one of the most successful cartoonists of his generation. But Adams wasn't content being just a cartoonist. In recent years, he pivoted into punditry, podcasting, and provocative commentary. He leaned hard into politics, gaining both loyal followers and fierce detractors. This transition made Adams a polarizing figure. Some saw him as a truth-teller, others as dangerously divisive. But love him or hate him, few could ignore him. And now, cancer doesn't care about controversy. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in men worldwide. And while it's often treatable if caught early, it's also a silent threat. Adams didn't share the specifics of his diagnosis publicly, no details on the stage, treatment plan, or prognosis. But the fact that he chose to share it at all is telling. Here's a man who thrives on control, of narrative, of opinion, of public image, suddenly facing a battle he can't debate his way out of. And instead of hiding it, he chose transparency. Not to seek pity, but to spark conversation. To inform. He encouraged men to get tested. To take their health seriously. Especially those over 50, when the risks begin to climb. And it wasn't lost on anyone that the man who once joked about office politics was now navigating a very real, very personal crisis. Some of the most impactful moments come not from cartoons or controversies, but from raw honesty. Adams is now among millions navigating this diagnosis. But his platform gives him a chance to amplify a message that too often gets buried under embarrassment and avoidance. The internet didn't quite know how to respond. Some fans expressed heartfelt support. Others, longtime critics, showed surprising empathy. Even those who clashed with his politics found themselves saying, "Cancer isn't deserved. No one should face this alone, 'cause illness has a strange way of resetting the scoreboard, stripping away ideology, revealing the human underneath." Many remembered Adams' openness about health in the past. Years ago, he'd spoken publicly about losing his voice to a rare condition called spasmodic dysphonia, only to regain it with unlikely therapy. It showed his resilience, his willingness to experiment, to fight back. Now, with cancer on the table, that same spirit may again be called into action. But Adams isn't just facing a health battle. He's navigating it under scrutiny. When your brand is boldness, vulnerability can feel like weakness. And yet, it may be his most powerful moment yet. Scott Adams built his life dissecting systems, whether it was the absurdity of middle management or the mechanics of mass persuasion. But cancer doesn't follow logic. It doesn't care how many books you've sold or followers you've gained. It humbles. It isolates. And it forces reflection. For Adams, that reflection may already be underway. He's continued posting, podcasting, and commenting on current events, but there's a subtle shift in tone. A slight pause between sentences. A softening at the edges. Maybe it's the weight of uncertainty. Maybe it's a deeper awareness of time. Whatever the reason, we're witnessing a new chapter in the Scott Adams story, one not written in ink, but in resilience. Will he pull back from the spotlight? Will Dilbert evolve? Will this diagnosis alter how he engages with his audience or how he views the world? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, even in the face of something as daunting as cancer, Scott Adams remains. Scott Adams. Unfiltered. Candid. And still shaping the conversation. And perhaps through his diagnosis, someone out there will take a PSA test. Catch something early. Live longer. That's impact. Not viral. Not controversial. But real. So how do you feel about Scott Adams' diagnosis? Has this news changed your view of the man behind Dilbert? Whether you followed his work religiously or just know the tie-wearing cartoon engineer, this moment forces all of us to reflect on something bigger than politics, bigger than comics, even bigger than controversy. It's about life, fragility, and what we choose to do with the time we're given. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this story meaningful, consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video. Help raise awareness. Help start a conversation. This is more than a story about a cartoonist. It's a reminder that life, no matter how calculated, can still surprise us. Stay healthy, stay informed, and as always, stay curious.